Welcome to the other side of life. I hope you're having a good week. Tuesday, we talked about emotion regulation. We talked about our primary emotions, and we talked about secondary emotions. All right. So today we're going to talk about figuring out what the primary emotion was if we don't have a clue, and how to respond better, differently to some of our secondary emotions. How we respond, period, to even our primary emotions, so that we don't do things that just add to our guilt and shame and regrets or resentments. All right. So I want to talk about recognizing your emotions. You know, what happened. So we were talking about our primary before was fear, lost a job. You know, I'm scared. How am I going to pay my bills? I get home. You know, wife starts asking me a bunch of questions. Well, what about this? What about that? I blow up at her. I don't know. I don't got all the answers. Now I'm angry. Now she's upset. She's crying. I feel bad. Now I got guilt. You know, how am I responding to these things? So we're going to write it. We're going to write it down, a sheet of paper, do some journaling. You know, what was the situation that happened? And you can start with an easy one too. You don't got to start with a hard issue, but we're trying to put these things into practice so that when we get hit with things in the future, we can respond differently. So what was the situation that happened? All right, why do I think that event happened? Did I have any control over it? And I didn't have any control over losing my job. It just happened. How did I feel? Am I fearful? Were there any secondary emotions? Maybe you got hit with the fear and you just dealt with it. So I'm going to be proactive and just start looking for work and, you know, just fight my way through it. If you're able to do that, right on. What did I do or what did I say? Did I blow up? Did I blow up at my boss when he fired me or whatever situation I was going through? Did I blow up at my wife or my kids? And how did those actions affect you? This one's very important because the way we respond to others and the way we react, usually that causes a lot of depression. All right, the guilt and the shame of doing whatever we may have had done to us. I mean, people can do things to us that can make us feel sad, but usually that depression that really sits in for a long time, that's the stuff that I did to myself. So how did those actions affect you? I want you to write these things down, and you can just, like I said, write out, you know, what happened. Lost my job. Why do I think it happened? Bad planning. How did I feel? Scared. Were there any, you get the point. Were there any secondary emotions? There was some anger. What did I do or say? How did I respond to that anger? And this is where you can kind of stop the cycle. Because as you're planning, maybe before I responded like I did before, I'm going to go have a drink, I'm going to go do whatever. I'm just going to forget my woes and party like it's 1999. Yes, I dated myself again. But if you've been going through a distraction therapy list, and if you've been working with opposite action, a video we did just a couple episodes ago, what I used to do, now I do something different. Okay, so now maybe I have a secondary emotion and I'm feeling angry. What am I going to do? Maybe I'm going to go work out. Maybe I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to watch a funny movie, you know, build some endorphins, laughing. Going to go hang out in the sun, play some volleyball, go to the beach. You know, do things that you enjoy doing. I'm going to call a friend. I'm going to talk to them, all right? You can change the cycle of what we normally did. Use some positive affirmations, which we really haven't really talked positive affirmations yet. We'll be getting to that. But the thing is to change the destructive pattern that we did before that just leads to more depression. We just keep stacking depression on top of ourselves. And again, when you can't remember what your primary emotion is because you went from anger to blowing up, now you feel bad because you blew up at your wife and kids or you blew up at your husband. Now you're feeling bad. Now you're drinking. Now you feel guilty because you said you weren't going to drink anymore. And you just keep stacking the stuff on top. And like I said, you know, Tuesday, you can feel depressed and you don't even know why you're depressed anymore, all right? Because, and some of it, sometimes there's a reward. We reward ourselves right here, you know. What did I do? What did I say? How did I handle the situation? There's a reward. Like sometimes for me, it was eating, all right? I get depressed, order pizza. What's the reward? You know, and I'm doing something destructive because I'm not working out and I'm putting on more weight. And then I just feel bad because I want to be healthy, but I'm not. And as you can see, that cycle, we just keep on the merry-go-round, and we can stop it by changing those destructive behavior patterns that just add to that depression and choosing to do something more positive. So again, the whole point is getting to our primary emotions. Just the episode. If you didn't watch Tuesday's episode, go back and watch Tuesday's episode. So we're trying to deal with the primary emotions, what's really going on before I get down to my secondary, my third, emotion, my fourth emotion, so that we can deal with things as they're happening. Remember, I can't control what happens to me. We're going to lose jobs. Car's going to break down. Kid's going to get in trouble at school, or mom and dad are going to make some choices that maybe we don't like. But I can change how I respond to it, and I can do positive things that don't tear me down. And then I don't have to stack more on top of whatever sadness and depression I'm already feeling. And as we go through these things, and again, if you're doing some of the destructive behavior patterns, don't beat yourself up, all right? Radical acceptance again. We're not judging, the situation. We're not judging ourselves. You made some bad choices, okay, but you're not doing it anymore. You just let that go, accept that's the way I was before, and now you're trying to learn better behavior patterns to do things better in the future, to minimize the depression, and and then just making those positive choices and the positive things on that distraction therapy list. You're battling the depression that you have, and you're not causing any more as you're dealing with life on life's terms. Okay. Next Tuesday's episode is going to be pretty intense. So we are going to talk about forgiveness, because sometimes a lot of things that we deal with, a lot of that depression comes from things that were done to us, and sometimes we got to let it go. All right. So we're going to keep practicing your mindful meditations. Make sure you work on that distraction therapy list, because I promise you are going to need it for next Tuesday. Remember, there's always hope. Your miracle or your blessing can be right around the corner, so don't give up before you get around that corner. Things do get better. Years ago, if you would have told me I was going to be doing inspirational videos and trying to share my experience, strength, and hope to help people, I would have laughed in your face. So I'm proof things get better, and you can get through this, whether it's job loss or whatever's going on in your life. All right. Shout out to my Black Jewel employees and anybody else struggling with job loss. Hang in there. Things are going to get better. I promise you. I'll see you next time on the other side of life.